Welcome to a quick note. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of aviation, exploring intentional decisions behind slower planes, dynamic pricing by airlines, and the intriguing story of business class. Fasten your seatbelts for this quick journey. Planes have become slower in the past 50 years, and it is done intentionally. At the time of Christmas or the holidays, tourist tickets are sold at a higher price. With this, the airlines review their competitors' rate. If there is any pattern that fewer people are traveling on Monday, then they'll provide you with a cheap ticket on Monday. Rarely, tickets are not available for booking. It runs on an algorithm by which prices change in real time. Also, the business class in airways has an interesting story. The iPhone was launched in 2007, followed by the iPhone 2nd. Now, a new version is launched every year with increased speed, and the same goes for their computers. Trains have also become superfast. However, there is one thing whose speed has not increased. In fact, it has slowed intentionally: airplanes. In 1967, the flight between New York and Los Angeles took 5 hours and 50 minutes. Today, it takes 6 hours and 30 minutes on the same route, almost 45 minutes more than before, and this applies to all airplanes. Essentially, in the past 50 years, planes have become slower intentionally. In past discussions about commercial planes, the idea was raised that increasing their speed would be successful. British Airways even launched a supersonic plane for this purpose, but it turned into a disaster. The question arises: why did all these things happen, and why can't airplanes become faster? We will discuss all these things. Firstly, it's important to understand that supersonic planes are those that travel faster than the speed of sound, which is 767 miles per hour. Anything moving faster than this speed is termed supersonic, while anything slower is termed subsonic. Today's planes are subsonic. To transport people faster from one place to another, British Airways launched the supersonic Concorde plane and used it as a proper commercial aircraft, operating it on the London to New York route. These planes had a very high speed, enabling them to travel from London to New York in just 3 hours. While these planes could rapidly reach their destinations, they also faced some problems. Firstly, fuel consumption was high for the supersonic planes, averaging almost 46.85 pounds per mile, whereas normal planes only consumed 18.7 pounds per mile. Supersonic planes could cover only 14 miles per gallon of fuel, while normal planes could travel up to 104 miles with the same amount of fuel. British Airways supersonic planes targeted a high-class audience, yet they were relatively expensive for customers, charging over $7,500 for a trip from London to New York. This was a substantial amount at that time. Despite the need for a compact design to achieve high speeds, the supersonic planes were uncomfortable for passengers. They had a capacity of only 100 people, whereas normal planes had higher capacities. As mentioned earlier, these were supersonic planes, and when they traveled faster than the speed of sound, they produced a sonic boom, a loud noise heard on the ground. Passengers and people on the ground had to endure this noise. Airlines were also suffering losses due to an increasing number of plane cycles and decreasing revenue. The lifespan of planes is determined by the number of takeoffs and landings, known as cycles. On average, the lifespan of planes is 44,000 cycles, after which they are retired. The supersonic planes completed a 6-hour flight in 3 hours, leading to an increase in the number of flights and a decrease in the age of the planes. Despite the substantial investment in creating supersonic planes, people preferred normal planes due to their cost. The supersonic planes were unable to reduce costs, given their high expenses. The primary reason behind creating supersonic planes was to shorten the travel time across the Atlantic Ocean. While crossing the Atlantic in 3 hours was exciting, the high cost of $7,500 deterred passengers. In contrast, normal planes offered a more economical and comfortable option, charging $200–250 for crossing the Atlantic and generating good profits. Consequently, the idea of supersonic planes flopped. British Airways had to cease the operation of the Concorde, with its last flight taking place on October 24, 2003. Since then, commercial supersonic planes have entirely halted their operations and remain inactive. In today's context, subsonic planes, while not as fast as supersonic planes, have the capability to run at speeds up to 700 miles per hour if desired. However, they typically operate at speeds between 500,000 and 550 miles per hour. This deliberate choice is made because at these speeds, planes run in the most efficient way, resulting in lower fuel consumption. For commercial planes, maximizing profit is of utmost importance. To achieve maximum profit, subsonic planes are designed with seat arrangements that optimize revenue from each passenger. While economy class seats generate less revenue, the real profit comes from business class. For example, British Airways 777 plane has 224 seats, including 122 economy seats, 40 premium economy seats, 48 business class seats, and 14 first class seats. Considering the costs per seat: economy class, $900. Premium economy class, $2,700. Business class, $7,000. First class, $9,000. If all economy class seats are sold, the revenue is $107,000. Interestingly, premium economy class, with fewer seats, earns almost the same revenue as economy class. However, the real financial impact comes from business class, generating around $323,000. This means that the 14 passengers in business class contribute more profit than the 122 passengers in the back of the plane. In the early days of commercial planes, there were no different classes, and all seats were the same. At that time, merely sitting in a plane was considered a significant event. It was so expensive that traveling by plane was considered a luxury experience at that time. To put it in perspective, it was akin to the status of traveling in a spacecraft for someone today. If space travel were to become commonplace in the future, we might witness the introduction of business and economy classes there as well. The story of business class in air travel is intriguing. During the early days of air travel, people primarily traveled in two ways: those who were on business trips. The second is tourists. Tourists book always in advance as their journey was already planned. And businessmen do it when they have to go. They buy tickets from the counters on the last day. But airlines wanted their tickets to be booked in advance, as there is uncertainty about how many people will arrive at the last moment. That is why they decreased the ticket price for tourist class and increased the prices for business class. So people book their tickets in advance. But soon they realized that for business class the value of time is more than money, as the tickets for the business class were easily booked even after increasing their prices. And then they started treating business class differently. Like they made their seats more comfortable. They changed their section. And then it was changed to a proper business class that we can even see today. One economy class seat takes 3.77 square feet space, while one seat of business class takes 10.14 square feet of space. And business class makes more profit. For example, one economy class ticket from New York to Dubai costs $1,250. And a business class ticket costs you around $6,200. That means an economy class seat earns $340 per square foot. And a business class seat earns $615 per square foot. That is almost double. You will notice one more thing here. It is rare that tickets are not available while booking. In the case of trains, you may find completely booked seats, but you will always find seats on airplanes. This is because airlines don't increase the supply according to demand but decrease demand according to the supply. If a plane has 100 seats and 120 people want to travel on that plane, they won't increase the plane size. Instead, they'll increase their prices so that demand decreases. The system operates on a proper algorithm that changes in real time. As you book the tickets, their prices change, a concept known as dynamic pricing. In dynamic pricing, tickets are divided into three groups with varying prices. The first group has lower prices, the second group has higher prices, and the third group has the highest prices. Although you can't visibly see these groups, airlines create and manage them. In this system, airlines initially release tickets for the first group at lower rates. If those tickets are sold, they then release tickets for the second group at slightly higher prices. If those are sold as well, the tickets for the third and most expensive group are opened. For example, if there are 9 tickets, they are divided into 3 groups of 3 each. If the first 3 tickets are sold, the next 3 tickets in the second group are opened. If those 3 tickets are sold, then the next 3 tickets in the third and most expensive group are opened. As the demand increases, the price also increases accordingly. In case the tickets of the first group are not sold, then the tickets of the second group are merged with the first group. This algorithm runs in real time. The opening price of tickets works differently. If the route is Delhi to Pune, then it will open at a lower price and will be adjusted according to the demand. But if it is a tourist route like Delhi to Goa, their tickets will open at a higher price. Tickets for an event will open up differently. At the time of Christmas or the holidays, tourist route tickets open at a higher price and at a lower price for a business route. They increase the number of flights on tourist routes at this time and lower them on the business route. With this, airlines review their competitors' rates and change their rate accordingly. Let's say an Air India ticket from Nagpur to Mumbai costs 3,000 rupees. Then other competitors will change their prices according to that. They also track the data on weekdays. If any pattern is formed that fewer people travel on Tuesday, then they will offer cheap tickets on Tuesday so that you plan your trip accordingly. They won't adjust according to your plan, but they try to make you adjust according to their plan by decreasing the amount. Running an airline business is a difficult task. It is difficult to charge premium for an airline, whether the customer is domestic or international. They search for the cheapest tickets. Business is as typical as it is glamorous. An airline suffers a loss on every vacant seat, and the operation cost is also high. And there are multiple government rules which the company needs to be followed at any costs. And that concludes our quick journey through the evolution of plane speeds, dynamic pricing, and the secrets of business class in air travel. We hope you found this exploration both informative and entertaining. If you enjoyed this quick note, don't forget to show some love by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Stay tuned for more quick insights on various topics. Until next time, this is a quick note, signing off. Safe travels.